The investigation turned horrendous. To this day, this is one of the things that scares me the most. I saw, it is insane in there. It's by far the most active building I've ever investigated. The sound of two elderly women speaking, take them, really, really grinds my gears. I was sat here and people still don't know that orbs are... I've seen real life exorcisms, but it's such a fine line between psychological and mental health and mental illness to actual demonic possession. So I own what's called the UK's most haunted item, which is an item called the bodies were buried in cellars because of the temperature in there to keep them before moving them on. Drew chalk around it, locked the office. I'm back the next morning, unlocked the office door. The doll has moved a few inches outside of the chalk line.
Oh, right. Strap in, ladies and gentlemen. I think this could be a long one because I've got so much to ask and so much to go through. Are we good to go, Jack? Yeah? Right then, we, as you may be able to spot if you're watching on YouTube, the Halloween special. Now, usually we get dressed up for the Halloween special, but I've tweaked it a little bit this year. I've got my Halloween t-shirt on. For the people who are watching on YouTube, they can see it. Before we get going, Halloween special, that's got to deserve some subscribers to the channel. So if you're not already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, all that jazz, because we are going to get into a bit of a Halloween-themed ghost podcast because we have got Danny Moss, the paranormal investigator. Welcome, Dan. I've got a little bit of an intro for you. Now, I've took it from everything that's online. So if you want me to stop at any point because I've got it wrong, just let me know.
Stop.
Right, okay, here we go. Danny Moss, a paranormal investigator. Danny is one of, if not the UK's leading paranormal investigator and one of the leading names in UK paranormal TV. Danny co-hosts Sky's Paranormal Captured and has featured on Celebrity Ghost Hunt Live and Discovery Channel's Unexplained Caught on Camera. Danny is also a host on Amazon's The Haunted Hunts, which he founded in 2015. At 17, this is the interesting bit that we're going to get to later on. At 17 years old, Danny witnessed an event which sparked his fascination with the paranormal. Now, after 10 years of working on TV, Danny has launched the Paranormal Investigator, an online show documenting his journey exploring myths and legends. This is the final bit. Danny was recognised by Haunted magazine as, and I quote, one of the most influential people in the UK paranormal field.
Jesus, mate, you're giving me a big head.
Yeah,
there.
do you like
you.
that?
Yeah.
That's hours
no
of research.
pressure now.
No, are we all right with those?
We're good. We're good.
It's a bit of an intro.
Say more.
Mate, honestly, I've got loads here, loads. But no, does that sum you up, Danny, does it?
Yeah, that pretty much sums up my very weird and wonderful career so far.
This is a podcast, right? We usually do it as people who regularly tune into this, because hopefully they're going to massively broaden the viewers. We usually have plumbers on, electricians, builders. Now, what we wanted to do with the Halloween one was we'll get someone in with a bit of ghosty, paranormal-y stuff. So I reached out to you. Massive thank you for returning it and coming on, because I'm sure when a random plumber from a construction podcast reached out, you're like, how's this?
Yeah, I was a bit like, what the hell's going on? Yeah. Honestly, thank you for bringing me on. I'm actually looking forward to this because, as we said off camera, this kind of podcast is hitting your average Joe.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the podcasts I do are reaching paranormal enthusiasts, if you like. So I'm actually really looking forward to delving
you was
into
just
this.
saying, because I said to you, have you done many podcasts, which I'm sure you have, doing your TV stuff, and you went, it's all like geeky paranormal stuff, innit?
Yeah.
So this one's going to be a bit...
This is a chat with the lads, so I kind of like
it. It is. And I've said as well, is there anything that you don't want to talk about? So hopefully we're going to get into just a good chat about it, because I'm genuinely, me personally, it interests me a lot. But yeah, I think you're going to have some good stories as well.
Do you know what? It is actually surprising how many sort of people in your industry, because you typically think, you know, your average bloke skeptical of it all.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm surprised how many people in your line of work are actually interested in it.
I think it's like a guilty pleasure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I spoke to my missus about it. Right, we've got Danny coming on. He's done this. Straight away. Oh, when he comes on, ask him this. I've got a load of questions.
And the women love it.
Yeah, she was like, I mean, she's always been quite invested in it anyway, which we'll get to in some of the questions that she's brought up. Shout out to Kaz, I've got your questions.
Cheers, Kaz.
Yeah, but you haven't heard them yet. But yeah, I just think, plus I think this chat's going to be a lot of fun as well.
Yeah.
So give us, what we do on the podcast is, talk us through what we usually do is talk us through the early stage of how you got into your career, where the way into this, as I touched in here, when you were 17, let me get my notes on my prompt cards because I'm that efficient. At 17 years old, you witnessed an event which sparked your fascination with the paranormal. So take us to there, build up that sort of version of what made you become where you are now.
Yeah, so probably every podcast I go on or every interview I give, it's always, how did you get into the paranormal? Because you don't just get into the paranormal.
You don't do a college course, do you?
No, it's I mean, there's no qualifications.
Yeah, when you're at school, what do you want to do when you're older? Plumber. What about you? Ghost hunter.
Honestly, it's a mad one. Before 17, if you'd have talked to me about ghosts, I'd have laughed at you.
Yeah.
Wasn't into it at all. I think the biggest sort of thing that was paranormal back then was Most Haunted. Yeah. So like your early 2000s, 2002, 2004.
So that would have been your Yvette Fielding thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think that was quite big on telly at the time.
Yeah.
I'd watch a couple of them and I'd think...
But it weren't on your radar?
No. And then at 17, so at 17, I loved a bit of a sesh with my mates, and we were round one of their houses. Now, this is like your average house in the middle of an average town. No mad history.
Where is this?
Like this.
Oh, where you are, up Chester way?
Yeah, so it's in a village called Helsby.
Right.
And it's just on a random estate. And we were there middle of a Saturday afternoon, we're having a few beers, and all of a sudden we heard someone in the hallway. So we were like, right, who's just come into the house? Literally thinking somebody's broke into the house. So we went out into the hallway, and in front of you, you've got this big staircase going up. And within about 10 seconds, we stood there and listened to somebody run up to the top, back down, up to the top, back down. And this happened like 6-7 times in a row.
And how many of you were there?
2 of us.
Right, okay.
And we were just stood there. And it's like that typical sort of comedy sketch where you just stood there like jaw to the floor, like, what is going on here? And that for me, because you
could just hear it massively vivid.
As if a bloke your size is running up and down the stairs. It's that clear, but there's nobody there. Now, to experience that for me was the first unexplained experience I've ever had, but it did something to me.
Right.
I just could not get it out of my head. I was like, how is this happening? How have we just watched or listened to somebody run up and down a staircase and there's no one there?
Was it like an old house?
No.
Because the typical thing is it's the haunted man. It's the old house. Relatively,
just normal,
25-year-old house or whatever.
Completely normal house, normal estate, normal village. Nothing ever happened there that I know about before.
Yeah. So you got no history to it, or just an estate.
No. And it happened, and it sparked literally an obsession. I was obsessed.
What did you make? Was he?
We still talk about it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, you still make him and
still talk about it to this day, because it's just one of them moments that's like, seriously?
Yeah.
So for me, that was the moment. And I always say it takes somebody to have an experience like that to actually trigger the obsession or trigger the interest in paranormal. Unless you've got some kind of interest in it already.
Yeah.
Your average person who doesn't give paranormal a second thought, if you have an experience like that, it's unforgettable.
So it's not even at that point you're a non-believer. It's just not even on your radar, is it?
I was probably more of a non-believer, yeah.
But it wasn't even a fascination or anything.
Didn't give it a second thought.
If someone said, "Danny, do you believe in ghosts?" No.
That was it.
And that was like the defining moment.
Yeah, that was it. And then from there, I just went on an absolute mission to have that moment again.
Okay. It's like a rush, isn't it?
But capture it so I can then have it and watch it back whenever I want. And I mean, to this day, whenever I talk about that moment, it still brings the goosebumps because it was real. Yeah. You know, this isn't your imagination. There's two of us witnessed it at the same time.
You could have gone if there was like a 2 steps.
Yeah.
It could be whatever.
Heat. Contracting, expanding the wood, whatever. I love how I can put this into plumbing now. Just when you put plumbing, but you must come across this all the time in houses. I know as a plumber, you put pipe work in and you put floorboards on top of that pipe work without putting a barrier, an insulation barrier. When those pipes contract and expand, it causes the noises around houses, that ticking and that creaking. Well, I mean, funnily enough, I attended a call-out case. As part of what I do is I attend call-out cases to this. Absolutely. If you think of a haunted house, this was it.
The caricature haunted house.
It was just like the creepiest looking place. I was like, I'm in heaven here. Yeah. This is brilliant. Went in, spoke to the staff, and there's this big open room, wooden floor, nothing else in there. But at the end, there's this cabinet.
I can see it now.
Yeah,
you can. Like if you draw a haunted room, that's it.
It gave me the vibes. I was just like, wow, okay. So, and the staff are there, and like, the cabinet opens by itself all the time. So I'm like, right, okay. So we're there for hours and hours, nothing happens, and eventually, it happens. We found a burst pipe under the floor, which was causing a vibration,
which was opening the doors. Yeah. See, when we spoke off camera. We'll get into everything as we go along, but you like to debunk those things, don't you? And like that, you could have gone, look, lads, look, that's what it is. Yeah. But we'll go on that.
Yeah.
And you've gone, that's what it is. And again, it could have been the heat coming through the floor, contracting the wood, open the door. But the fact of when they're heightened to that, it happens every day at 6:30 in the morning. Well, that's the time the heating comes on, mate.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, this is it. This is my job, and you know, to actually fall into this full time is still crazy. That I think about. I'm a full-time paranormal investigator, but that is my job: is to provide a rational explanation behind stuff. So, I mean, a lot of people watching this will be very skeptical, and that's great. Yeah, because I love working with skeptics, and I love presenting my sort of job and what I have to do to skeptics because I was a skeptic.
Yeah, you was that guy.
I was him. So it's you know, to see some of the locations that I work at, to see like a skeptical guy get dragged along by his missus, you can tell.
I thought you was going to say dragged along by a fucking ghost then. I thought he's leading me in here. Go on. No, that's
later. But you know, you see it all the time. These fellas that come in, you can just see it written all over the face. Well, a load of bollocks. Yeah. And then by the end of the night, they're like, oh my God. And they're full of questions and they've proper opened up.
Yeah.
Because you know that you've gone on a proper paranormal investigation with them. So that, for me, seeing that, it is brilliant because it just reminds me of me when I was a skeptic.
And it's confirming what you do, isn't it? You know, well, not what you do, but that's opened that guy's eyes the same as what you had when you were 17 in that hallway.
That was it. That was my defining moment. And other people who I know personally or who I've worked with will have their defining moments. And there's people who still attend the hotel that I work at full time now who are still skeptical.
And they want that moment.
Yeah, they've been like 20, 30 times. And I say to them, look, this doesn't just happen because you want it to happen. Yeah. You have to put in the time and the effort. After that experience at 17, it took me years till I then got another experience.
So nothing ever happened. Was that your mate's house?
Yeah.
Nothing happened again?
No.
So that moment, and your mate lived there, never...
Yeah, I have no idea who owns that house now, whether they've experienced anything, but that was it. That was... And I've been in that house so many times before, so this was... It was so strange. I like, everything's going through my head, like, is there some kind of thing under the stairs that's caused that?
But to go up and down and up and down
6-7 times,
Yeah.
and here it's step by step, up and down. Yeah, there was no explanation for that.
So what happened after that then, Danny? Where was you? You've had that at 17. You've processed that for however long. You've gone on. You've deep dived. Right, I'm in this. I want to know where are we going now with the journey?
I kind of did. Like we said at the beginning, there's no kind of qualification for a paranormal investigator, but I did my training almost to kind of go about it how I wanted to go about it, which was more of a kind of rational. So I did a lot of research, many hours of research, years of research, attending paranormal events, so, these big weekend group events, and swiftly realized, okay, there's two types of paranormal investigation here.
Okay.
There is your event, which is commercialized.
Is that like your ghost hunting?
Yeah, like they're up and down the country every weekend.
Yeah.
I spoke to you.
Yeah, we're literally 10 mile away from Warwick Castle. I've done one of these events. Yeah. Sign up, turn up at 11 o'clock at night till 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
And a group of people.
Yeah, and do your things like your table tipping, your Ouija boards. And so there's that, and then there's your proper paranormal investigation, which is all kind of research based and technical and requires a lot of time, not just turning up to a location for 5 hours and expecting to see things flying around rooms that you do on the movies. But a lot of people, like TikTok's a massive one for it at the minute.
Right.
A lot of people will watch kind of fake content on TikTok and go, that's real.
So what would be a fake content on TikTok for argument's sake?
Just things flying around rooms. There's that many videos of like furniture moving and things getting launched across kitchens by unseen. It just doesn't work like that. And I can't stress that enough, how frustrating it is for someone like me to see that, and it gets millions and millions of views online, and people are actually believing that that's real. And one of the biggest parts of my job is to educate people into what is a paranormal investigation and what is your commercialized crap, basically. So I spent a lot of time doing that, and I trained at a place in North Wales called Plasteg, which is an insane place. It's an old Jacobean mansion.
Right.
Incredibly haunted. Loads and loads of history behind it, deaths, visual evidence being captured.
What is
there.
that, like just like a stately home?
A huge Jacobean mansion, in the middle of nowhere, that's been there since 16 something.
Okay, so you can tell a tale or two.
Oh, yeah. And I spent a lot of time in there just putting cameras and taking sort of audio readings and sitting and waiting for something to happen.
And this is your training?
This is how I kind of train myself.
Okay,
yeah.
so because there's no definitive way to train, is there?
No, I mean there's online courses, there's parapsychology courses and things like that, but no one can train you to be a paranormal investigator. It's because it's not a proven thing.
Yeah.
You kind of have to train yourself. That's why I said there's no experts in this field. There's just people with a lot more experience than others.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, there is a right way to go about paranormal investigation, although some people in the paranormal may disagree with that and say that, anything goes. I don't really think that's the case. And that was it. That was it for the next few years, just constantly training myself, going on events.
And what was that place like?
Insane.
Was it?
Yeah. So that was then my next unexplained moment. We were all sat in this.
So this is the training place you was at?
Yeah.
So what sort of, is this like 4 or 5 years after, or?
Yeah, this is, probably about 3.5 years
Okay.
after that. And I am sat there in this really creepy room. Nothing's happening at all. It's just creepy. And all of a sudden, someone comes through the door, or what we thought was someone coming through the door. And this door, this heavy old oak door that, it takes some effort to open and close it. You've got to put your shoulder into it. Flings open, and we're like, all just sat there waiting for somebody to come in.
Yeah. It had been open like meaningfully.
No one there. And that was my next big
And it's
moment.
not the sort of door that would just,
No.
like a chipboard door. It's not rolling open.
Not even the heaviest gust of winds could
Yeah.
be. You've got to put your weight into it.
Yeah.
I mean, even the girls were struggling to open it.
Right.
It's that heavy of a door,
And it's just opened up.
Yeah.
And you've gone, here we go.
I just thought, wow.
And is that sort of confirmed? You had that incident when you were 17, and then this is the next incident. Has it gone? Yeah, I'm in now.
Not at that point. No, I still was a bit like, find the explanation behind this. Find it.
So did you go right? I want to find out how that done it.
Yeah.
Before going, shit, that was a paranormal thing. I want to know why.
Well, I did. I've sat there. I'm like, oh my god, that's really creepy. That is creepy. But then I'm immediately like,
Everyone's heightened at that point.
yeah,
aren't they?
debunk
They're
it.
like,
Go debunk it now. You run out there first thing to see if there's anybody there.
Yeah.
Obviously not. You're testing the door. You're trying to figure out whether it does it. But the speed and the ferocity that it flung open, there was just no way. There was no way at all. And yes, it was an unexplained moment, but I needed more.
Yeah.
I needed way more than that. And I think that's the problem with the paranormal, is that people can have these experiences and they always want more and more. If it doesn't scare them out of the
It's like a drug, isn't it?
It's obsessive. The amount of people that get obsessed with going on investigations, I've never seen anything like it.
That's mad. It's crazy. So you're there, you've seen this. So then where are you going after that?
So after that, I set up my own company, which was the Haunted Hunts, and that's with the H, not a C.
2015. Brilliant. 2015.
2015,
So you've done your time, if you like,
Yeah.
there, and you've gone, right, I'm going to set up.
Yeah, I'm going to set up one of these events companies that hosts these paranormal events for your people who are 50-50.
Yeah.
So most of the events are catered to believers in the paranormal. I wanted it to be people like me who were kind of like, is it real, is it not? And the techniques that I was using, so none of this table tipping, none of these Ouija boards, none of that at all. No use of mediums.
What is your view on that sort of stuff?
I'm a massive skeptic, and I'll never, ever believe in it. And
assuming you've done the table tipping thing,
Yeah.
and you're still, it's not for me, that.
I'm 110% sure that it's not real.
Right.
And I'll argue till I'm red in the face with anyone, because part of what I do now is bring people in to experiment with these things. So we'll get onto it in detail later,
Yeah.
but I brought in a couple of women to the hotel who were your big spiritual believers in the paranormal, and I planted fake names to them in a walk around and then watched them push a glass to that fake name.
Okay, so very much what I call, I'm no authority on it. I would call it the Darren Brown effect.
Yeah.
The walking around, and you'll go, we're walking past the Cassandra suite. You've got the Cassandra suite here, you've got the Lincoln there. So you throw in them little bits in.
Yeah.
So they've done that, and then they've gone to the board.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't want to sit here and accuse every Ouija board of being faked. There's something called the idiomotor effect, where you are pushing it, but you're just not aware that you're doing it, because it's power of suggestion.
Yeah.
And that is a massive thing. And then you have your other side where people are genuinely pushing the glass because they're faking it.
Yeah.
And I've seen that. I've seen both sides of that. Table tipping, again, another one.
So describe a table tipping for people that haven't done it.
You wouldn't do it with a big table like this. You'd do it with these little wooden ones. You'd all stand around. You'd put your fingers on it like that. And
so just the tips of your fingers onto it.
Yeah, and you'd ask, if there's anyone there, can you rock the table? And the theory behind it is that the energy is being used to then move through the people around the table, and you can get like a tip to the left for yes, tip to the right for no.
Okay.
Now, what happens when you're all stood around a table like that? You get the seasick.
The motion.
Yeah.
You start to rock, don't you?
Now, what happens if me and you were doing it now and we're both rocking in opposite directions? What's going to happen to the table?
It's going to go one way or the other, isn't it?
And again,
okay.
it's.
I never thought of that. I've done it. I've done one of these ghost tours at Warwick Castle, and we did the table tipping in it, and one of them moved. And you just saying that explains it completely. At the time, I was like, my skeptic side, in a way, went, how can that be fake? Because there was me, my sister, and my daughter, and then two other, just a couple, and we was all around it, and it done that. And I'm thinking, how if it's fake, how have we done it, or how have they? Because straight away, I know the two people I'm with.
Yeah, you trust them.
Yeah. The people opposite, you don't. Straight away, you go, is this part of is it part of them? Have they put that?
Yeah.
So yeah, but now you've said that, the motion, you're right. You stand up.
Yeah.
And you're in a dark room. You know, you're all there. I think we was down in the dungeon.
Yeah.
So it ramps everything up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
So again, it's this idiomotor effect, or someone genuinely fake it, and it does happen. Unfortunately, there are people out there who will fake it. I don't know why they would do it, but I've seen it. I've seen it happen. You know, and that's what kind of goes on. So I designed the Haunted Hunts team to run it completely scientifically and rationally. So we would use different bits of equipment. We would base it a lot on using cameras and audio recorders. So your two main paranormal experiences, if you like, they're either visual or audible.
Right.
And by using cameras and audio, there's no way that
you're ticking each of them off, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it. So that's basically where it went from there, and it became very, very popular.
Right.
Because
it's scientific fact based, isn't it?
I mean, science will. So
I suppose science will debunk everything, won't it?
Science will never accept the paranormal right now.
Okay.
And I am very scientific based, absolutely. But science also contradicts itself consistently. You know, how many years ago where smoking was actually good for you?
Yeah.
You know, how many years was it that the earth was flat?
Yeah.
You know, this is the thing. Science has to evolve. And maybe in 100 years from now, 200 years from now, whenever it may be, science may accept paranormal phenomena, which would be fantastic. But I don't think we're anywhere near that level at the moment. But these incredible claims need incredible evidence to go with it. And that's the problem. For people like me, paranormal investigators, you're always going to be subject to skepticism and non-believers and cynics and people just going, oh, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, that's totally fine, because I'd be the same. I would. But you have to have an experience to really kind of delve into this industry.
For that switch to go, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And like, I've seen the most skeptical people ever, you know, big fully grown fellas like yourself, have these experiences and go, that's it, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
I'm in.
They're on the chase then, like you.
Yeah.
Not with Bradley Walsh, they're on the So you've got, where are we up to? 2015, you set up your Haunted Hunts.
Yeah.
And then have you gone into the TV side of it then? Because I touched on it, you know, you are one of the, if not, again, quoting my own research, if not one of the UK's leading paranormal investigators within TV.
Yeah, probably one of the household names now in paranormal television.
How did the TV side of it come about then?
So, when I was a young teen, come out of high school, and I was in the acting industry, I absolutely loved it.
Hollyoaks and Seamus.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, Danny.
Yeah, so I mean, but the acting industry is as hard as you can get. It's so competitive. I had an incredible opportunity with a callback for Emmerdale to play the part of Ross Barton.
Really?
Yeah, which would have been...
my missus will be all over it now.
It would have been a life-changing move. And unfortunately, I didn't get it. And I was working
How close was you to it then?
Pretty close.
Was you?
Yeah. And there was others as well, like BBC dramas, where I get called back and I was like, I'm in it. And then the disappointment, because, you know, I'd have to work in factories. I worked at my local golf club behind a bar.
Yeah.
trying to just keep the money coming in for that big audition that was going to happen.
That seems to be a thing with jobbing actors, doesn't it? They do the little jobs, if you like your barman or you're working in Boots or whatever, to keep the money coming, waiting for that big break.
Yeah.
And you thought the Emmerdale one might have been it? Or...
Yeah, and I got some jobs, got some pretty cool stuff, but it was just not enough. And I was like, right, I'm getting older here. What am I going to actually do? And then this obsession with the paranormal had started. I was like, and when I was attending these sort of weekend ghost hunts, if you like, with these events companies, I was like, these guys are actually making money off this. Like, can I turn this passion into a job? Now, obviously, that comes with its complications because people will be like, you're making money off gullible people, you're doing this, you're doing that. Which,
the whole charlatan thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that will always happen. But that's not what it was about for me, because there was the majority of my events people would come to and they'd leave at the end of the night and not a single thing had happened. And I'd say, that's the way it is, guys. We're all here for the same reason. But I built my fan base and my custom base off that.
Yeah.
So people would turn up not expecting something to happen. They were just turning up for the technical aspect of it and the research aspect of it, and a chance to just go into these.
I suppose
cool
the
buildings.
authenticity of it. The fact that you're not saying to someone, something happens, I do it 4 nights a week, something happens all the time. That alone would make you go, it's full of shit.
Yeah.
You can't like summon it up 4 nights a week.
If it was that easy,
every man and his dog would be at it.
I'd be a millionaire by now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what it was all about for me. And setting up this events company, I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. But I don't want to just do these events. I want to take this into television. And the reason I want to take it into television is because I want viewers to sit there and go, that's real.
Yeah.
This guy is searching for the truth. That's real. And that was the first TV show I did. It was called Search for the Truth.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't get that. Not as good as I thought.
Yeah.
So again, that was a paranormal thing.
Yeah.
Searching for the truth.
Yeah.
What was that on?
That was on Sky.
Right.
2017. It ran for 1 season, and it was going into these buildings and doing just that, searching for the truth. So you get all your.
So it would be a prime one of that cupboard in that room with the door opening.
Yeah. I mean, that was more call out case. So
Okay.
that was going on around the TV stuff, because trying to actually put people on TV is a complicated thing.
Yeah.
You have to sign all these things. And some people don't want to do it. Some people are just no good on TV.
Yeah.
And to actually make a TV show, you need to make it interesting.
Yeah, you've got to have a character, haven't you?
That's it. And that was my passion, was then to make a paranormal TV show where it didn't have to have paranormal things happening. It was your entertainment would be from the history, from the stories, from the people who were investigating, from the way that you present it.
Yeah.
But turn around at the end of an episode and go, well, nothing happened. But
you've been invested in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what that show was all based on. And it's very, very difficult to be involved in paranormal production and to retain the viewership if nothing's happening. But then you can never resort to the fakery side of things, which happens on a lot of TV shows.
Because it'll completely kill you, won't it?
That's it. All my morals, everything that I built my career on is out the window then.
Yeah, instantly.
It's like, why?
For the sake of commissioning series 2.
Yeah.
This is going to happen.
Why would I need to do it? I earn a good wage off what I do outside of the TV stuff, and I don't need to then go on and start doing that. So every single TV show that I've been involved in or said no to, it's always had one rule: like, look, you have to let me do my job properly and seriously. And I've been lucky to get on some incredible shows that have just let me do that.
Yeah. So where did you go from there then? So you've done the first one.
Yeah, that kind of skyrocketed everything for me then. And
I suppose it pushes you up, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I got a very, very lucky kind of few years from that. So 2017, 18, 19 and 20, just before COVID hit, was the big push for me. So we were commissioned on Amazon Prime. I did another Sky show called Paranormal Captured, which was absolutely awesome. Loved being part of that. Unexplained Caught on Camera, Celebrity Ghost Hunt, all these other like shows. Got to work with the Americans, and I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was a huge passion of mine, and I just said to myself and my family, look, this is what I'm going to do now, and that was it.
So your Celebrity Ghost Hunt, who was on that? So what year would that have been?
That was 2018.
Okay.
It was on 5-star, so the Channel 5 extension. That was with Rylan, who've done quite a bit of work with over the years.
Yeah.
Great guy. Olivia Atwood.
I remember it now, yeah. So there's Ryan and Olivia Atwood.
Yeah, there was loads of
There's a few.
loads of Towie people, Love Island
it
people.
was the reality scene, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was Joey Essex on it?
No, he wasn't.
He was on everything at that point.
Yeah. Oh my word. There was like Holly Hagan from Geordie Shore.
So you had the typical lot.
Yeah.
I suppose the producers for that TV show have gone, we know exactly who's going to make a mega entertainment, even if nothing happens and Rylan jumps, them lot are going as well.
Yeah.
So what was that? Was it good fun? Or?
It was good fun, and you had to take it how it was meant. It's not meant to be a serious paranormal investigation.
So do you, for the fact that you've even done it says that you don't take yourself that too seriously.
I don't think
because you're going
to
go into that. They're going to sell that to you, Danny. We've got Rylan, so and so. Are you up for it? And you've gone. You know that's not going to be scientific based.
Yeah.
Proper how you want to be.
Yeah.
But you know it's going to be great. It's going to push you through the ranks. It's going to be good fun.
Yeah. I mean, it was just an experience. I just thought, this is going to be fun.
And where did you go? Can you remember?
It was Hamworth Park. It was in London.
Right.
This big, huge, rotting mansion. It was absolutely freezing.
Empty
completely empty.
Like a derelict sort of thing.
Yeah, it was in February or March, so it was absolutely bitter in there. And I mean, it was just comical. So
did you film over one night with that then?
So that was a live, that was the actual live investigation. So I was in the like the tech club, if you like. So you'd have a camera guy roll up to you and go, right, as soon as the red light comes on, we're rolling, you're live, and you've got a guy in your ear. And I was like, I've never done anything like this before. Okay. I am shitting myself because
first live
on TV. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, there's millions.
But I bet you're massively excited as well.
Yeah, and I'm like dithering because it's so cold in there. I'm like, I've got Rylan in my ear, going, Danny! I was just like, oh my God. And you've got the girls who are like just screaming their heads off over absolutely anything. And you're there trying to read out social media comments. They're giving you an eye.
Yeah, of course, because it's coming in, isn't it?
And as you're reading stuff, you've got a guy in your ear, the producer going, Danny, say this. Danny, say that. What's going on now?
And you're trying to read Joan from Sussex's tweet that's coming through.
Yeah. But you know what? It was good fun. But, I mean, you can't take that seriously. But it's not meant to be.
It's entertainment, isn't it?
Yeah. And I don't think anyone sat there going, I'm going to tune in and watch Rylan Clark, and this is going to be the most serious paranormal investigation in the world.
It's not that show.
But, I mean, that's common sense to the viewer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so obvious, but it's not fakery that's happening.
It's just entertainment.
Well, they're all just cacking themselves because it's psychological and it's what they do. You shove a bunch of reality TV stars in a haunted house. Just like,
bingo.
Let it work.
Bingo, mate. You don't have to say anything.
That's it.
Ladies and gents, just a quick one to say a huge thank you to our new headline sponsor, CT1, the best sealants on the market, voted for by the British public. Not only that, it's made in Britain as well. So go and support a product and a brand that is made in the UK. But I just want to say to you, they've got a brand new product out, which is the BT1. It's a combination sealant and adhesive like the popular CT1, but it's perfect for keeping a hygienic environment. And it's designed to completely stop the growth of bacteria, microbes, and fungus. And not only that, this stuff is strong. Now, it's going to be available at Travis Perkins, Wickes, Jewson's, and pretty much everywhere else, so there's no excuse not to go and give it a go. So we're really happy to be partnering with CT1.
So you've done your ghost hunts, done your celebrity ghost hunt, and then it took you on to, where are we? It took you on to so the haunted hunts is still running at this point?
Yeah, so That got a commission for Amazon Prime.
Because that's still going now, isn't it?
Yeah. We're awaiting news on a commission for season 2 because the show revamped, which was really weird. So we ran it. It was 2018 through to 2022, and then it revamped to go in a different direction. So it was based on all these different journey formats. So we went to Pendle Hill, for example. We spent a week in Pendle Hill, which was unbelievable.
Because that's is it the witch?
Yeah, the witch trials. Thing, isn't it? Yeah. And then they wanted to revamp in 2022 to go more into real call-out cases. So you'd actually go to people's properties and try and help them and stuff like that. So season 1 was good, successful. So we're waiting a season 2. But the previous show in 2020, I think the pandemic really helped this because there's a lot of people just sat at home doing nothing.
Falling down rabbit holes on YouTube.
Yeah, or, watching just crap TV shows.
Yeah.
This being one of them. And the Pendle Hill series, it ended up getting about 3 million viewers. So I was just like...
So what was that like? What went on there then?
That was the most epic week I've ever done.
Strap in.
Investigating.
Here you go. Go on then.
So, I mean, if you haven't been to Pendle Hill...
So where is it?
It's in Lancashire.
Okay.
Near Burnley.
Right.
And it's this really rural area with a big hill that's called Pendle Hill. And in 1612, there were a number of accused people of conducting witchcraft, basically. And, I actually believe they were all innocent, but it was King James I at the time. He was dead superstitious. He thought everything was a demon or a witch. So women were just not safe at all. You'd just be strung up.
Wasn't the thing for a witch, you'll know...
like a weird mark on you or something.
Yeah, but was it if you throw a woman in a river and she drowns, she's not a witch?
Yeah.
If she survives, she's a witch, so we'll kill her.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
If
You're dead.
You're having it. You're done.
That's it.
That's that sort of era, isn't it?
That's it. And a lot of it was superstition and male chauvinism.
Right.
That's why a lot of them got accused. But this whole thing just went absolutely insane. And this guy called Thomas Potts was documenting the whole thing in a book. So you can actually get the book online. It's fascinating if you want to go down the rabbit hole for that. And we spent a week there investigating some of the properties that may have featured in the 1612 trials. Right. So like these old farmhouses.
You actually went in them?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Really?
Like that was the one that then turned me believer.
Oh, so that was the switch.
That was it right there. So, I mean, the start of the week, not a lot really happened. It was a bit heavily production. It was like, oh my God, I'm absolutely knackered. I'm functioning off 2 hours sleep here. Got to go out to a location again. It was a bit of a drag. And then we got to episode 4 and this location called Sadler's Farm. And it went fucking insane. So we were using this white noise. So I'm a big believer in pumping white noise and hertz frequency into a building.
Is that the same white noise that people listen to now to go to sleep?
No.
Okay.
This is...
Because you can go on YouTube, can't you? White noise is that...
Yeah.
So it's not...
There's some of that in it, but
Okay.
it's pumping out different hertz frequencies and different sort of frequencies of white noise. So you've got the big loud... And then you've got the stuff that's outside your hearing range. So you might hear a very slight little squeaky noise in the background, but really that's just happening outside your hearing range.
And what's that doing then?
So my theory is that I stumbled across the theory in 2018 that if you start using this device in buildings, it's causing a vibration within the fabric. And that's potentially triggering paranormal activity. So when I was turning this thing on, I would then start hearing like footsteps or like knocking sounds.
Wow.
Like the buildings would come alive and voices, actual voices, intelligent voices. And I had to really fine tune it over a period of about 3 months. And I was using a software called Reason to actually mix the frequencies and get it right. It took me 2 attempts, and on the third one I got it. And I was
So
starting
you testing this in the building
in locations
to get what you want.
Yeah, and like the amount of eyewitnesses that were with me when it started working, there was no denying it.
Shit.
And then the voices started to come just in midair. So like me and you sat here now, and someone's speaking here. Oh. Yeah, honestly,
Get it? Can we get it? Oh,
it was insane, like unbelievable. And we took it to Pendle Hill, and we caught the sound of two elderly women speaking to each other in 17th century dialect about us in the room.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So one of them said, "Who art they? Who art they?"
Yeah.
And the other one, "Where?" And then the other one went, "Take them."
Shit.
At that point, we shit off. The crew were shitting themselves.
And is this just in the air?
Yeah, just in midair in front of us all. There's shadow figures moving. It's absolutely nuts. The camera crew, one of the camera guys, actually gets clocked in the mirror going like that because he doesn't want to stand out in the hallway on his own. So he's shitting himself. It was unbelievable. And then I had the most unique experience I've ever had where I just went like blacked out completely, woke up with the crew holding me outside in floods of tears.
Shit.
I woke up, I'm like, what has happened there? And you see, it's all caught on camera. You see me getting...
Oh, it's all on the thing.
All on there. You see me getting dragged out the location, and I wake up outside, and I have no idea what's happened. So it's a time slip.
Shit.
It's
so
insane.
how long was you out?
3 minutes, 4 minutes.
And you don't remember going into it or anything?
Gone completely.
And that was off the back of these women?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. You just see me, I'm slouching down like that, and you see me slowly going. Me being the skeptic of my eye, it's like, oh, my blood sugar's low. I'm tired. This, that.
So is that what you're thinking when you're rewatching it?
Yeah.
And you're trying to explain why that's happened.
Yeah.
And you're
going, always looking for the rationale behind it, but I just can't explain what happened to me. Am I saying that a ghost affected me? No, I'm not. I can't sit here and say that, but it was a paranormal experience. Remember, when I say paranormal, I'm not saying ghost. I'm saying it's not normal.
Yeah,
it's paranormal. And then the final episode of that week, we went to a place called Lower Wellhead Farm, and that's when I captured my first apparition on camera.
Oh, have you got one?
Yeah, full on. We locked off cameras all through the house, and there is a figure that walks past. Seems to be wearing some sort of cloak, see-through. You know, you might be looking and going, there's nothing there, there's nothing there. Trust me, it's there. You have to watch it in the doorway. It moves from left to right, but watch the bottom where you see the footstep like motion move past. Yeah. So I'm there, I'm going...
And this is all at that same...
No, this was then at another location called Lower Wellhead Farm. So these two locations, Sadler's and Lower Wellhead, unbelievable.
But all in the same area?
Yeah. About 500 yards from each other.
Right, okay. Wow, yeah. So that's like a hot spot.
Huge hot spot. So that was it for me. That was the game changer. And the amount of people that got obsessed with that series, they were like, they just couldn't. Because obviously I was heavily involved in the production of it as well. So I was like, I really want to captivate the viewers here with the story of that place. Yeah. Because it is such a unique and atmospheric location.
And especially as it's a village, if you like.
Yeah.
You know, you're saying that the two happened in 500 yards.
Yeah.
There's a village, that's the whole thing, and with the hill and...
Yeah, it's incredible. And, that was a major success.
So would you say that's your biggest paranormal incident?
It was, up until...
So what year? Okay, so what year was that then?
So that was in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I joined what I work for now, which is the My Haunted Project, which is, for me, going to change the entire genre and change paranormal television as people know it. Because, again, going back to that whole, I want to make a show that everybody knows is 100% legit. There's no stuff going on. So what's the best way to do that? Everything's on camera.
Yeah.
You've got no crew members throwing stuff, behind the scenes. Every single angle of the building's covered 24/7. And that's the whole idea behind My Haunted Project. So we own Guy called Harry Achilleos. He owns a building in Chester called the Old King's Head, which is called now My Haunted Hotel.
Right. Oh, you mentioned a hotel earlier on.
Yeah.
That's the hotel you're referring
so
to.
It's a 400-year-old inn. They found a 17th century sword under the floorboards of one of the rooms in 1924 during a refurbishment, which we're actually trying to get tested for DNA. They found all sorts, and it is insane. It's by far the most active building I've ever investigated.
Is it empty?
No, so it's got a pub downstairs. It was a fully functioning hotel, and you have got...
pub, anyone can go to the pub?
Yeah.
Just anyone, a normal pub?
Anyone. Yeah, it's like, big old-fashioned, like an old inn, basically, a big fire. It's insane. And the upstairs was obviously a normal hotel. And when he purchased the building 13, 14 years ago, he purchased it because of its reputation as haunted.
Right.
So there's reports of the paranormal activity there going way, way back, all the way like to the 90s, 1980s. And we think it may have sparked from that uncovering of the sword in 1924.
Yeah.
So it's an incredible place, and he had the vision of putting cameras everywhere and developing this project, and it took until the pandemic to actually do it. So he shut down the hotel.
It was a working hotel up to that point.
Working hotel. People would go in there because it was haunted.
Many other people been there?
Yeah, loads. Yeah, there's reports.
It's like the go-to...
Oh, one of them, yeah. So there's reports everywhere. There's even a ghost book in the bar, which has got reports all the way back to the 90s. Hi, stayed in room 6, had this experience.
Oh, brilliant.
Left in the middle of the night. And it tons of eyewitness accounts in there. So
it seems to always be in pubs and bars, doesn't it, as well? Not always, but you get a lot of people, John, who's been in here for years, has always seen someone at the far end of the bar. Yeah. I think they just... them rooms, because they're so active with people in them, would that be right? It brings the volume up and the...
Yeah, but you've also got to remember a lot of the bodies were buried in cellars and things like that, because of the temperature in there to keep them before moving them on. But yeah, you are right, is that pubs are bustling places, aren't you? You go to a pub, you want it to be busy, you're having a few pints. It would have been the same 300-400 years ago, just with brothels in them and all sorts like that.
Jack's been in them. He'll cut that out.
Don't do it, Jack.
Yeah, so he's bought it in...
And he finally got his idea to come through in the pandemic, and he's always wanted me on board, but obviously I've been dead busy with my other stuff, and it kind of all just fell about in 2022, and I was like, do you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do this, because I believe in it.
Yeah.
I believe in this use of 24/7 surveillance, but the best thing about it is that you're opening the doors to anybody to come in and have their experiences documented on camera.
So is it covered head to toe in
Everywhere.
cameras? Everywhere's covered.
There's not a single bit that's missed. They're in the cellars, obviously not the toilets. That's the next show if this one fails. My haunted toilet.
I'll be all over it. I can be the plumber, the chief plumber going in. So it's covered head to toe. So you're going to capture anything.
Yeah. And so that's been running since 2022. And then in January this year, we opened one up in America.
Same principle.
Same format. And the plan is to now open them up. In genuine haunted buildings, you can't turn up at this building and go, right, this is it. We're going to put cameras everywhere and capture paranormal activity where there is none. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of research going into finding these buildings and then getting a team on board. So we went over in January. It's based in Columbia in Pennsylvania. And it's a place called the Samuel Miller Mansion, which is connected to the Underground Railroad, Gettysburg, things like that, and it is insane.
So what sort of stuff's happened there? Have you been to that one?
I've investigated it. It's weird. There's a lot of childlike activity.
Okay.
So they've caught poltergeist activity. They've caught kids' voices.
So are you using that white noise?
They do use it there, amongst loads of other kind of kit in there as well. But mainly it's all about the cameras and what's caught on camera. It's insane. It's absolutely incredible. So that is an amazing place. And
So that one in the UK, what have you had there? Have you had much?
like,
Is that so going from the one that you had earlier on that you were saying?
yeah. So again, there's this report of a black shadow figure that's been witnessed for years, like going back 50 years. Everyone was like, "Oh, have you seen the black shadow?" And everyone's
It's
like,
like
"Oh."
synonymous with
It's like, you know, the grey lady that haunts.
Yes, yeah.
It's that. It's like, have you seen the black shadow? No. And then we got it. Walking down a corridor on one of our CCTV cameras, just walking down a corridor. It's just like this black mass.
Yeah.
You can see the human-like movement, and then it just evaporates into nothing.
Disappears.
Yeah.
And that was caught on one of the cameras that are in there.
Yeah. So again, I'll give you the footage.
So when something like that triggers a camera, do you have to sit through the footage, or does it? If something happens, it triggers to store it somewhere.
Yeah, so Harry's phone's constantly going ding, ding, ding. So audio and visual notifications. And the majority of stuff he gets is one of the biggest misconceptions in the paranormal. And for anyone watching this who's watched paranormal TV or orbs.
The legendary orbs.
The bane of my fucking life. Orbs.
Yeah, I think everyone will know. Oh, do you see that orb? See that orb? And on the TV show, we've got an orb.
Yeah. I've got an orb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they got an orb, Dan? No, they
It's
haven't.
not a fucking orb, I'm telling you. And I really, really grinds my gears. I was sat here 2024 and people still don't know that orbs are dust, insects. So what's the majority of orbs caught on? Either a mobile phone with a flash,
right,
or an infrared security camera. So you know these doorbells alarm, and it's raining outside. Look at all the orbs.
Yeah, everywhere. Everywhere. But people they think that is something, don't they?
Yeah.
And they'll run with that.
Yeah.
And
you can't tell them it's not. You can't, because they've got it in their head that this is a ghost on camera. But it's not. This has been scientifically proven to not be paranormal. So if you get a clump of dust moving close to an infrared camera lens, it's going to reflect off the infrared and it's going to look like a massive ball of light moving across the camera.
Yeah.
So anyone looking at that go, how can a big massive ball of light fly through the middle of a room? But it's not. It's a tiny microscopic pit of dust about that far from the camera.
And it looks huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's an insect, or it's and I've proven this time and time again. But you will get people on TikTok and you'll get people on whatever it might be, or watching the TV shows, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, did you see that orb?"
Yeah. They're dying out on the orb, aren't they?
Yeah, I hate the orb.
You want full-on apparitions.
Full-bodied beasts.
So have you ever had, like, we said earlier on about furniture moving. Have you ever had, what's your view on that? Have you ever had that?
I've had it, yeah.
Okay.
So we caught it on 2 cameras at my haunted hotel. The chair moves out and twists, and it's caught on 2 cameras. So there's like...
What, from different angles?
Yeah, completely different angles. So you see the back of the chair, you see the front of the chair, you see under the table, you see everything. Obviously not fake.
Yeah.
But, like, if you go and watch The Conjuring... Now, the Conjuring films are all based around the Warrens.
I was going to come on to The Conjuring.
Yeah.
And like the Hollywood's version of stuff. But The Conjuring is quite fact-based film to a degree, isn't it?
Until they Hollywood it up, yeah.
Until they Hollywood it up. I've got it in one of my questions here. I'm one of these people, and I think Jack might be the same, and you may even, Dan, as well. You watch something on TV or watch a film, The Conjuring we'll use, for instance, and then all of a sudden you've watched it, you've been entertained by it, you shit yourself, whatever. Then you want to go and find out the actual story behind The Conjuring.
Yeah.
But that's a very good story, isn't it? It's
based around the Warrens.
Yeah, the Warrens and the whole... Because the Warrens were to do with the Amityville as well, weren't they?
Yeah, the Warrens had probably... I mean, they're both dead now, but they were the world's most famous paranormal investigators.
Husband and wife, wasn't it?
Yeah. So he was a demonologist and paranormal investigator. She was a clairvoyant, and they would attend these huge cases at Amityville.
Yeah.
The real Conjuring house, which is the actual place is called Harrisville Farm.
Right.
It looks nothing like it does in the movie.
Yeah.
But the reports that happened there are insane.
Yeah.
They're absolutely incredible. And, yes, some of the stuff that is in the film is based on what happened, but they Hollywooded up.
Judged up.
Yeah.
I think The Conjuring is one of the films that I've watched that genuinely unnerved me a bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking hell.
I love it.
But yeah, the Conjuring is one of them films that I've watched and genuinely moving around going, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Because it unnerves me. And I think the fact that it being true events, I won't say, it's completely the same, as you say, it's not, but it's based on that.
Yeah.
So straight away you're like, shit. The same as with the Amityville stuff. Whereas you watch something like Nightmare on Elm Street, complete just slasher, horror entertainment film.
Which I'm a sucker for, by the way.
Yeah, I love them. Love them. But you watch something like The Conjuring, it just unnerves you.
Yeah. I tell you, for anyone watching, and if you've not seen it yourself, the film that most accurately portrays the paranormal, the dark side of the paranormal, so I'm talking like demonic stuff, is The Rite with Anthony Hopkins.
Right.
So The Rite as in R-I-T-E.
Yeah.
Watch that film. That is...
Is that pretty bang to the right?
It's Hollywooded up,
Yeah.
of course, because they all are, but it's very accurate in terms of the how they portray a demonic possession to be.
So what's your views on that whole demonic possession? Are you in?
No,
not a thing for you.
No, I can't say it's not a thing because I don't know. I've got no proof to say no. And obviously there is an aspect of the Vatican, which, I've just been to the Vatican in September.
Yeah. Not for work.
No, no, no. That was relaxing time. But they have a whole section to do with exorcism. They have trained priests who deal with exorcism. So I've seen real life exorcisms, watched videos on it, but it's such a fine line between psychological and mental health and mental illness to actual demonic possession. And again, it's so hard to delve into that because you're really treading a fine line.
Yeah. You're no authority on mental health.
Yeah, exactly.
Yours is the paranormal side of stuff. But just going on that while we're on the film sort of stuff, I've got what sort of famous hauntings would you have loved to have been part of? So I've got Amityville as one of them.
Yeah.
And what also I find massively fascinating, be interesting to see, the Annabelle doll.
Yeah.
What about that? So if someone doesn't know about it.
Yeah, I mean, so
talk someone through.
Annabelle, again, it looks nothing like the doll in Hollywood.
I've seen a picture of the actual doll. And
it's a raggedy Ann doll.
Fucking I don't want to say anything bad about the Annabelle doll. It's in a glass case.
Yeah.
Some guy's got loads of haunted stuff, hasn't he? Or curse stuff. And he's like, I will take that and we'll lock it in this room. Is this right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
you're talking about Zach Bagans, who's
Right.
like probably the biggest American name in paranormal TV. Probably the biggest name in paranormal TV. But
So tell us what he does and what he's got.
So he owns a haunted museum in Las Vegas in which he's got all these artifacts from famous cases that he's done and also famous cases from around the world. So he's got an item called the debunk box,
Right.
which I think there's only 3 or 4 of them in the world, and he's got one of them, which is this Jewish box that has got a demon attached to it, supposedly. And
So Dibbit is what they refer to in paranormal. What's the field? Paranormal Activity.
yeah, debunk, yeah.
Obviously, that's Hollywooded up.
Yeah.
But they've took that Dibbit.
Yeah, so
But it is a thing then.
So yeah, the debunk is the demon basically.
Okay.
And there's all this history behind it, which I won't go into now. But he's got one of them in his museum.
And there's what one of 5 of them.
One of 3 or 4, I think, and one of them was buried and stuff like that. And then some people don't know where the other ones are, and it's dead freaky. They've got Dr. Kevorkian's sort of death van in there and stuff like
What's that?
It's like this thing where this doctor murdered all these victims.
In the van?
Yeah.
He's got the van?
Yeah.
It's like having Ted Bundy's beetle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's creepy. It's really creepy stuff.
And he's got the Annabelle doll.
No. So the Annabelle doll belonged to Ed and Lorraine Warren. And
Did they take that from somewhere then?
yeah, that's a real case.
That's not The Conjuring, though, is it?
No, so the Annabelle films are linked to The Conjuring.
Through...
Ed and Lorraine Warren.
That's the link.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they investigate. So Annabelle was like a spin-off film for The Conjuring. Because
But that was what they actually investigated.
Yeah.
So what's that then? That was...
It's a doll that was believed to be a conduit for the spirit of a young girl who died called Annabelle. And the parents who tried to do that ended up invoking this demonic entity to use the doll. And that's the whole story behind it. So this is a dead evil thing.
It's like a little cursed doll then, isn't it?
That causes all this issue. And, a big, massive, famous case, which the Conjuring films are quite accurate in the way they portray the history behind it in the actual case, but the actual movement and poltergeist activity is obviously Hollywooded up. But, yeah, and then Tony Spera, he is married to Lorraine's daughter.
Right.
So he now owns the Annabelle doll. And he took the Annabelle doll to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum. And there was this big, huge dispute and argument about it and everything like that. So, I don't know. But it's a real thing. Yeah. Has
he took it off someone that just doesn't wanted to get rid of it? Because no one's going to take that. If I had it, I'd be like, I don't fucking want this.
Yeah.
So he took it.
The Warrens investigated the case. Yeah. And the Warrens, what they would do is they would have their room of these artifacts from cases, cursed artifacts, haunted artifacts, and they would take it and they would bless this room. So what you see in... I've forgotten what... I think it might be number 2, the second Conjuring film. You actually see that the room... It's not the real room. It's a set, but... with all these cursed artifacts in, and that's what they actually did. And they'd have a priest come round and bless it twice a month and things like that. Yeah.
So they would take things from cases. They were, we'll take that doll.
Yeah.
Put it in there.
Yeah.
So now that resides in like a glass case, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. With all this protection on it and everything.
Fucking freaky, man.
It is scary. It is actually scary when you delve into haunted artifacts and things like that. There's a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
But I've had first-hand experience of haunted artifacts, which are just insane. So I own what's called the UK's most haunted item, which is an item called the Grace doll.
You own this?
I own this.
Right.
So this is a doll with no history behind it. It's just a normal little China doll. Nothing behind it.
One of the ones with the Chinese, the China faces?
Yeah.
Oh,
they're horrible. With the eyes that follow you and everything like that. So I use this thing to take on to investigations of places where I thought there could potentially be spirit children there or hauntings of children, maybe a child died there. So we'll use this doll as a trigger object, to try and something to go back in their time that they can push, something like that. Nothing ever happened with this thing for years and years and years.
Did you just buy this then?
It belonged to my mum.
Okay, so there is a little bit of history to the doll.
Yeah,
but just your mum had it.
Yes, a doll.
Okay, so it's got
no haunted history,
nothing
like that.
Okay,
and nothing ever happened with it, and then
just looked a bit freaky.
Yeah. But we'd use it with the idea that could we get poltergeist activity on it or something like that. And we took it to this one location called Nanc Louis de Dre in North Wales, which is the oldest timber townhouse in Wales. Freaky place. And I ran an event there once, and I'm not shitting you, honestly, I had to carry a girl out because she had a meltdown in the middle of the house and felt like she was the only person in there. And all these weird effects started happening to multiple people, myself included. So you'd get a stinging around your head, like something's digging into your head. You get pains in your hands and in your feet. These are all symptoms of...
stigmata.
Stigmata, yeah.
Shit, yeah.
What Christ suffered when he was crucified.
So the head is the thorns.
Yeah.
The hands are the nails.
The stinging eyes where the blood and sweat would drip into your eyes. I'm not joking. So many of us had these effects that it wasn't mass hysteria because we were all in separate areas of the house and it all happened at the same time. So there's people running into the middle of the house going, my eyes are fucking burning. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And all through the house you'd hear 3 knocks, which is believed to be a mocking of the Holy Trinity. So it happens in places with dark shit going on.
Right.
So that happened. And then on this one investigation, we returned in April of 2021, I think. No, 2019.
Yeah.
And we had the grey doll with us on this chair. Now, it was sat back in a chair. Like,
how big is it?
Oh,
just a
about that.
A normal doll size.
Yeah, in a nice, pretty little red dress.
Of course it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's sat back in a chair like this, leaning back. Now, the way this come off the chair is it's somersaulted forward. Now, how's that possible?
It hasn't slid down.
No. It's not gone to the side. It's not slid. It's head first, somersaulted. Now, that defies gravity.
Yeah, because he's lying back.
Yeah. So we just think, oh my God,
Yeah.
like poltergeist activity, this is incredible. The whole time through the house, you're hearing these 3 knocks. And we couldn't, literally tried to do everything to debunk it, couldn't. And the investigation turned horrendous. So there's a crucifix in the room that we called the crucifix room because these religious artifacts everywhere. We don't know why. And one of them come off the hinge and swung into an upside down position. Pure coincidental because of the way it was pinned.
Yeah.
But that was just like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? So again, we're trying to debunk it. Is it a vibration on the wall? And there's a group of 12 people sat on the floor. And to this day, this is one of the things that scares me the most. I saw a female and 11 other people saw it at the same time. She had a crucifix necklace on. So take mine
One
here.
of the ones sat down.
One of the women.
Yeah, that are with you.
Yeah. Now, the room was probably about as lit as this, so you could see.
Yeah.
Myself and the other people all watched, and her necklace came up like that off her chest and ripped off.
No.
So she is sat there just like frozen solid. Can't believe what's just happened. Everybody else is like, and there's that 2-3 seconds, no one says anything, and then it erupts in screaming.
Just goes off.
And I've never seen anything like it, and that was it. That was enough. And
So
then,
what happens then? At that point, everyone's losing their shit.
yeah. So the investigation ends. Everyone's like, oh my God, this is horrendous. I'm like, we have to shut this down now. I'm not comfortable with this. I've got members of the public in here. I want no part of this anymore. What I've just seen is fucking with me psychologically.
Yeah.
And the 3 days after that, it got weird. It got so weird. So we took the doll back to our production office and all this weird stuff starts happening over 3 days. So we're like, what is going on here? Like, some of my team are like, I'm convinced it's that doll.
What's going on
So I'm
there?
like, shut up. It's not the fucking doll. And it got so weird, like noises, things moving. And so I literally on the 3rd day said, I'm going to prove it's not this doll. Sat it, drew chalk around it, put the chalk down, locked the office. Come back the next morning, unlocked the office door. The doll has moved a few inches outside of the chalk line. And this is now part of a 6-year-long case. 2018 it was that it happened.
Shit.
So this was absolutely... So we did loads of investigations around this thing. We locked it in a place called Stanley Palace in Chester under the house in a basement.
So you now taking this? This is a thing now. Taking
Yeah.
this doll with you.
This doll lives in the hotel now.
Okay.
Where it's under 24/7 surveillance. So we put it in the basement of this old haunted place, and the secretary rings me and she goes, "Get the fucking doll out of this house. I'm hearing a woman screaming." So I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I've never experienced anything like this before in my life. I'm a meltdown. I'm like, what the hell do I do? So I start a project in a place called Tattenhold Hall, which is this old creepy house. And I put it in there so that people could come and investigate it, myself included. And over the years, we hear, clear as day, dun, dun, dun,
The 3 knocks.
3 knocks on the box. On the actual box.
What box? The box?
The box that contains it.
Oh, it's in the box.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was all these religious kind of religious aspects to the box,
Right.
where it's kind of been blessed and, you know, contained
Yeah.
within this box. Now, to anyone listening, like, I'm sat here listening to myself say this. I'm like, what are you saying? Shut up. But honestly, the amount of people, there has been over maybe about 700 people who've witnessed this firsthand.
Wow.
So it is happening, and there was voices coming out of it. I've had all these like skeptics and scientists take a look at it. No one can work out what's going on with it. And for years at Tatton Old Hall, it just caused havoc.
And you just left it there
Just left it there.
to do its thing.
Do its thing. You crack on, love. And then in 2023, at the beginning of 2023, I moved it into the hotel so it could be under 24/7 surveillance. And we have got this thing moving on camera. We've got voices coming from it. We've got it mimicking a child's voice. People having these stigmata effects in the room with it.
And that was the first thing that you had with it, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I'm there now thinking to myself, as skeptical as I am and as much as I'd love to debunk things, has this got an attachment from that house?
From the first incident. Because before that, it was your mum's doll.
Yeah.
You took it as a ploy thing to generate something with it. And something's attached itself to it.
That moment it was flung off the chair, was that something attaching to it? Now, it sounds absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah, but you've got that with the Annabelle doll.
Yeah.
So is it still in the box now at the hotel?
So right now it's gone to London because it's part of the Kraken Screamfest convention, because it's like famous in the UK.
Oh, is it like within the circles it's known?
Yeah.
Danny's fucking doll.
Sounds like some weird kind of like porn film, doesn't it? Jesus Christ.
So it's got a thing, people come to see it because it's renowned.
Yeah, but there's all these rules with it, so you can't touch the box. It's like, it's strictly...
Is it see-through or not? You can see it inside there.
But the way this thing was caught moving on camera, again, it's sat back like that, and it lifts up. So it's not
It's
like...
in a box on its own.
Yeah. But like, you'd understand if it went... and kind of like slumped down, you know, bit
gravity,
of vibration.
Yeah.
This thing lifts up. But it's the noises. It's the noises that come from it. It's DVP. So DVP is direct voice phenomena. So as me and you are speaking to each other now, we can hear each other.
Yeah.
That's direct voice phenomena. So it's not EVP, which is electronic voice phenomena, what you capture through microphones and things like that.
Are you wasting time? I think that some of you probably are, and I have a solution for you. Nobody wants to do any type of admin. Now, I have a solution for you, and it is called Tradify. It's a fully automated job scheduling, invoicing, and quoting all in one place. Now, that software is going to save you 12 hours a week, and all by using a simple software solution. Now, you can try it for 2 weeks, absolutely free, no cards needed, and you'll even get support in person from Tradify themselves. Now, when you're done, you can always come back to me and thank me, but just enjoy the extra 12 hours that you're going to gain from just using the software.
Okay, we've done dolls. This is one that I think this is probably the first ghostly thing I ever knew of as a kid, I suppose. The Enfield Hauntings, massive. I'm still, anything comes on the telly about the Enfield Hauntings, I'll sit and watch it.
Are you in?
I'm in. Am I in?
What's your thoughts?
My thoughts. So my initial thought is if anyone doesn't know the Enfield Hauntings, it's just a normal terraced house in Enfield, 78.
Yeah,
it was something like that, wasn't it? Late 70s, and two girls. Was it? You probably know more than I. Just give us a bit of a
yeah, so I mean, it's this family. The girl's called Janet. Forgotten the name of the other one.
Yeah,
and all this poltergeist activity starts happening in there, and it is the most famous of British cases.
Yeah, and it's got that picture that I'm sure everyone who's listening, because they're half interested in stuff like this, of the girl being lifted off the bed, thrown off the bed. So that's a really prominent image from that haunting. Now, I love everything to do with it. I've listened to stuff. There was a 3-part TV show, weren't there, with Timothy Spall?
Yeah.
Really good. I think that was fairly fact-based.
It's the second Conjuring film. It's based on the Enfield Haunting.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think I shit myself too much with the first one. I didn't watch the second one. But yeah, I think I'm massively invested in it. I'm really interested. But that one picture of her being thrown across the room looks like she could have jumped off the bed.
Yeah.
So as much as I'm invested in it, that one shot always makes me go, but did she jump off? But then you've got interviews with the woman who lived out the back, and she could see the girl being lifted through the room. And then you've got, who was the guy? Who was in
Morris Groves or
yes.
Gross, yeah.
It's a massive thing, isn't it, the Enfield Haunting? So what is your view on that?
I mean, I'm sure everyone's heard of it. I mean, you can't not have heard of it. It is the biggest of British cases. And what does it for me is the police report.
That's right, yeah. There was a few coppers that...
Well, why would a policeman lie?
Yeah.
Why? There's just no need for it whatsoever.
And he's seen, I don't know what it was, but he saw stuff that...
He saw a chair move across the floor and basically said...
So you're having marbles launched at him across the room as well, weren't it, or something?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one was the chair moving across the floor, and he turned around and was basically like, I'm not qualified for this, you need something else. So...
Have you ever been there?
No, because you can't get in there.
Is it just someone's house now?
Yeah, but it's owned by some kind of religious... something. I'm not too sure on the facts of it, but you can't get in there because we've been trying to get
Which makes you go, why would they not let anyone in?
Yeah. We have tried to get the place as part of the project that I'm working on.
Yeah, because that is the big one, isn't it?
It's a dream, but it's not possible. There's skepticism. Of course there is. You're 50-50 with it. Is it real? Is it fake? But because of the mystery of it, it's the unknown. It's the question of, well, what if? Because it's not been proven fake, but it's not been proven real.
Yeah.
But obviously you've got the big one where she's got water in her mouth.
That's right. Yeah.
And the voice still comes out.
Yeah.
But where there's no camera evidence of that. There's only an audio recording.
Yeah.
So although you've got like these SBR people there, Society of Psychical Research, these are proper paranormal investigators. That these are the guys who'll spend weeks in these places.
And they were there.
Yeah. So Morris Groves or Gross, he was part of it. And then the Warrens were involved as well.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, that's why the second Conjuring film is based on it. But then they brought the whole, is it a demon kind of thing, where I think the more rational explanation is it was this Bill, this guy called Bill.
That was it. Yeah, Bill.
And he was kind of possessing Janet. But I mean, it's one of them. You just don't know. It's a fascinating case. I'd have loved to have been alive to investigate it myself. But you just have to kind of take people's word for it.
And there's nothing to that degree in the last 20 years.
Not that's got that much media attention.
Okay, but is there something? Within your circles? Is there a under dark web version of some moody place in the UK?
It's really difficult now because the paranormal has become so commercialized. There's that many TV shows about it. It's huge in America.
Everyone's looking for that place, aren't they?
Everyone is. And back then, it was taken very, very seriously. Yeah. And there wasn't a lot of the skepticism that there is now. But the investigations were done properly then. Whereas investigations now are so contaminated with crap and these different gadgets that don't prove anything and the mass hysteria. And I tell you, the worst place for paranormal, what's absolutely destroyed it, YouTube.
Right.
YouTube has destroyed the paranormal because it's so oversaturated with fake content and now the rise of TikTok, and no one's invested anymore in. You don't just sit down now. If you're of a certain age, like I'm 34 and I feel old.
Right.
Because there's people now who, with the rise of TikTok, you watch 3 seconds of content, you've got to be hooked within 3 seconds. And if you're not, you're off.
It's a movement of your thumb, innit?
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
Next.
So no one's got the time now to sit down and just invest themselves into actual research of things like the Enfield poltergeist and other famous cases from around the world, because if nothing's happened in the first 3 seconds...
The interest's gone,
Yeah.
like that.
It's such a shame.
You're right, yeah.
It is such a shame.
It's short form content. If you know your sofa's not shooting across the room in 2 seconds, then...
And that's why you've got on YouTube, you've got these paranormal YouTubers who, you know, in the first 3 to 5 seconds, something massive has happened in their opening. Like, oh my God, I've got a demon, man. And like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
And it is killing it. It is. But because it then makes people like me and people who I respect in the field look like, how can we be ever taken seriously when you've got that going on?
Yeah.
Like, to anyone watching this who's going, oh, do you know what? The paranormal is full of shit.
Yeah.
If they're still tuned in now, like, take my word from it, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you 100% because it's absolutely, but I can't be taken seriously when stuff like that's going on, but I can't change it.
That's why one of your quotes is, you're looking for the holy grail of evidence. To debunk all of that crap that is put out there, what would it be? What would it be?
I've got it.
You have?
I've got it. Like, those apparitions that I've caught on camera, for me, is my job done. And
I just want more of them now.
That's it, because you
want to show others.
Yeah, but I've shown, I've presented them. You're going to see it in this podcast, and I want to show it. But you still get people going, "Oh no, it's not. I can't see anything," or "Oh no, it's fake." But it's not.
Yeah,
and like, but you can only take my word for that. And the raw footage. Luckily, the two apparitions are caught on a security system. So we have the raw footage of it, and that's my best proof that I can offer. But unless you're actually there and you witness it for yourself, are you ever going to really believe in it? And I understand that. I do.
Yeah. So I put out on my Instagram yesterday, just for some people, I said, if for any reason I get to speak to someone in the paranormal investigation side of things.
You're a tease.
Yeah. See what I've done there? I've drawn them in. So we had a couple of questions. Majority of them are from my missus, actually. So my missus grew up in a house where something she can remember vividly as a kid being asleep and feeling things in the room. Never seen anything, but she was always. I've always said to her, she is one of these people that should follow it up, and she seems to be susceptible to stuff. So she grew up with, and I spoke to her mum about it, and they had a lot of stuff moving around or noises that weren't proper noise. They lived in a old terraced house. I know the house, and you know, Warwick at South where I am is quite synonymous with stuff like that. And it goes on to me wondering if, and you've said it with that doll, is something can attach itself to something or someone. So we're now in a house, we've been in the house 14, 15 years. Now I remember very early doors of moving into the house, I used to see things in the corner of my eye. And I remember sitting there and catching something. We've got a doorway in our lounge, and catching something while watching telly there. It's like in your what is it? Some words get me.
Peripheral vision.
Peripheral vision.
Peripheral
vision. What's the other one I can't do?
You can't do most.
Yeah. Peripheral vision. Caught it.
Due diligence.
That's the one.
Ooh.
Can't do it.
It's a good word.
Yeah. We'll do it sometimes on here and I can't get it out. I just look at him. Caught something in my peripheral, in the side of my eye. And it happened a few times. And in the end, I was sat at home watching the telly and I went, caught it. And I went, oh, for fuck's sake. And I was saying, what? And I went, I thought I seen something in the room, and I've seen it thought I've seen it a few times, and she looked at me and she went, I see it all the time. Just about the house. Not I see it in this room, just about the house. And she went, sometimes I'll be in the kitchen and I'll turn around and it's something. I don't know what, not a typical shadow, just something. So that went on, and I don't see it at all now, probably last 5 or 6 years, not seen anything, but she gets a feeling that someone's in the room at night when she's asleep. Not me, I'm there, given. But like, you know when someone walks on a carpet and there's that footstep noise, she says she hears that and she feels as if someone's pushing down on the bed with a hand, not shoving it, just as if like a cat's walking on your bed.
Yeah.
And she says she'll freeze and she'll just be like, just go away, leave me alone. But she said that's what she used to have in this house 25, 30 years ago. And I've got no reason to not believe her because I've seen these, or I think I've seen these things moving around the house. And she was like, what do I do with it? What can I do with that?
It's hard, isn't it? Because like I have to sit here and offer a rational explanation. So I dealt with a case quite similar to that with the whole bed thing, and it turned out to be sleep paralysis. Okay. But obviously she's awake when it's happening and she knows she's awake.
It's like she'll hear those footsteps coming round.
Yeah.
As if someone's walking slowly round. She said I can lie there looking at the ceiling and you can get a feeling of where they are in the room. She can feel the footsteps going round the bottom of the bed, and it's like she's going, right, he's going to push on the bed in a minute. And like it will stop, and then it sounds so corny, doesn't it, sometimes?
Yeah, but I mean, I get these, the team I work for, it comes through in the email all the time, like tons of these every week of like people having experiences, and 99% of the time you are able to debunk it, and then that 1% maybe not. So I think to give her advice, the first thing you'd need to do is actually capture the evidence. Because without the evidence, it's just a ghost story. Yeah. And everyone's got one. Yeah. Like, I've got no reason to not believe her. Yeah. You're sat here now with a straight face telling me that it's happened. So, everyone that I deal with, you have to have some belief in what they're saying, but you also need the evidence. You can't just go, right, that's it. Get me in to investigate. I believe in every word you're saying, and I know what's happening.
So, like something like that, she says she can hear that footstep coming round. Get something to try and record that.
Yeah, just set a camera up overnight. I mean, don't do anything weird on camera. Don't want to see no hairy asses. But that's it. I always say to people, look, I need to see something. And if I see it, then I can investigate it. And then if I investigate it and capture something, then there are ways and means to deal with things. So like some people, it scares them to death and they want it gone. Yeah. But to get that to happen, you have to involve the church, right, to come and bless the property. And
does that go on a lot?
I spoke to a priest who deals with this, and he says to me, "There's not one case he's dealt with that has been paranormal." He says it's all psychological, or there's a. So I kind of work with him. So all these cases.
That's mad because he's massively against everything. Not against, counteracting everything you're.
Yeah, but he needs to be like that because, like, to get an exorcism, you have to present the evidence that it's not psychological. Right. 400 years ago, that wasn't the case because everything was paranormal.
Because we didn't have the means to say something's not a mental illness.
You have to do a psychological assessment. You have to go through all these other things before you even delve into the paranormal investigation side. So, like, I've had some. I'm not a psychologist, but I know because I've dealt with these cases before where you can clearly see people are psychologically affected in some way, or they've had their. They've watched a TV show that's influenced them, or they've watched it, or they've had a background in this, and they believe, the amount of people that, I've been catching orbs in my room.
Dust.
Yeah, boom. So I just say that, bang,
Yeah.
or I get someone to respond for me. But you know what it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, but I've attended a couple of cases that have been genuinely like the whole family's been experiencing stuff, or multiple people. And when you get multiple people saying it, like you have now, it adds weight behind it because you kind of rule out that imagination factor.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe this is happening, but it would require the evidence. And then it would require me to do all the psychological assessment, everything else, then go into the paranormal investigation side of things, then present my own evidence to the church, who would then still say, "Oh no, we need a proper psychologist going in, or we need this, or we need that." It's a big, serious thing, and like I think a lot of people who don't know the paranormal, who maybe just have seen a TV show and they just think, "Oh, ghosts." There is so much involved in being a paranormal investigator than just rocking up with a torch to a location looking for ghosts.
I remember on the tour I did, they had them, and we touched on it.
Cat balls.
One of these, so Warwick Castle, and we was in the crypt or wherever it was, and the team there, they were great, but they put the little balls that light up when a cat plays with them, they put them around the room. And like, right, if anything moves, there's no way that's going to trigger unless something happens. But they're that fine. You get a tiny bit of dust, get an orb, tiny bit of dust on it, or a vibration from someone's foot, it will trigger it.
Yeah. So not a lot of people might know this, but I was one of the first people to ever start using them.
Was you?
Because I found them in my local pet store, and I went, here we go. If I use that on an investigation, it starts rolling. It's going to light up. So I started using them, and then a few years later, when you start really delving into them, and now I debunk them all the time, but people don't like to hear that.
Yeah.
They're like, so there's a video of me with one on a surface, and I start clapping next to it, and the vibration from my claps making
Triggers
it light
it.
up. And the spirit level in them is so sensitive and temperamental that you can put it on that stool over there, for example, and within 5 minutes it'll start lighting up. But such is the mass hysteria with the paranormal nowadays, and the influence from TV shows or YouTube entertainment, things like that, where people will think a ball flashing is a ghost. But like, where has the rationale gone?
Yeah.
Like,
It's just a light.
it's a spirit level and a thing that's a bit dodgy. Like, use your noggin, do you know what I mean? But people don't. And it is frustrating. It's massively frustrating. And I fight every day to try and educate people, and it's sometimes I am just losing like the war against it, because it's like bang my head against the wall. You're never going to get through to people who blindly believe, and it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not here to tell people what they can and can't believe in, but you have no idea how many people over the years have come up to me in the street, in a bar, and gone, "We have a look at this on my phone." I'm like, I'm 10 pints deep here. I'm pissed.
Do you get it a lot?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, honestly. Like, I was out with my missus and her sister, and someone come up to me in the middle of Chester Market. It was like, "Danny, I've seen you on Amazon Prime." And like, her sister couldn't believe it. She was like, like buzzing off it. I'm like, it fucking pisses me off, because like, if I like to go to pub. I mean, people think you're a paranormal investigator, you're a weirdo.
Yeah.
I'm probably one of the most normal lads ever. I love me football. I love me drinking. I love it. And when I'm in
just so happen to be into the paranormal.
Yeah, it's just an interest. You know what I mean? That I've happened to make a job of. But if I'm 10 pints in at the bar and someone's coming up to me with like, "Did you know the other day me nan experienced this?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
Shut up and get me a pint.
Yeah. If you're going to chew me ear off, go and get me a drink. I'll have a double Kraken, thank you. But it's so frustrating, like, seeing it, and the amount of people who took offence when I've said, "No, this is this," and like, "Nah, shut up, you're chatting shit."
They want you to confirm what they are hoping for.
Yeah, I'm like, hang on a minute. You've come over to me. You've asked for my opinion. You've actually said, "Can I get your opinion on this?" And because it's an opinion you don't like to hear, you've taken offence, and it's all my fault. It's like, fuck off.
You'll get them, mate. They're everywhere.
Insane.
They're everywhere. Have you ever been scared?
Yeah. That Sadler's Farm
That
story.
Sadler's one, did you?
Yeah, scared the life out of me. Just because Like if you black out and lose time and you wake up somewhere else in floods of tears, like didn't even feel emotional or anything like that. So I'm crying for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is the tears running down my face? And the crew are just like, are you okay? Like this has just happened.
And
I'm
that
like,
was like the scariest.
scary. Yeah. I mean, some of the stuff that's happened with the Grace doll.
Yeah, that sounds pretty freaky, man.
Has been pretty horrendous. Like, it sounds crazy, but people have experienced it. So I know that I'm not the only one. There was a time where it got so hostile and so bad, people were getting thoughts put into their heads. And if someone told me that, I'm like, sure, right, okay, or whatever. And I had it, and it was horrendous. So, like, I had this vision of my dog dying. Now, I've got a boxer dog, and he's incredible. Love him to pieces, like one of the most important things in my life. And I'm there, concentrating. I've got people in the room with me.
It's at one of the sessions that you're doing?
Well, it was at Tattenhall Hall, yeah. And I'm doing this session with this item, and nothing's really happening. And I'm fully focused on what I'm doing, and then all of a sudden, as if someone's flicked you in the side of the head, and this vision of my dog dying is in my head. I'm like, whoa. And
there's no reason to be thinking that.
No.
There's no relevance to it.
Nothing at all. And my sister's looking at me, who works on the Haunted Hunts with me. She's massively into it as well, but she's a massive skeptic.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, huge skeptic. And she looked at me and she went, go outside now, because she knew something bad was happening. So I went outside and cleared my head. But people have had that. And then you start getting emails from different people who'd been in the room that don't know each other saying, oh, I've had this dream. Then you get another email and it's the exact same dream. It's the exact same dream.
After being...
from two strangers who've had no contact with each other.
Yeah.
No way they could have spoke online or anything like that. Both had the exact same dream. How do you explain that?
Yeah.
That is insane.
Again, it's linked to that doll, hence why it's... What did you say? It's the most haunted object?
In the UK, that's what it's deemed as.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the media label it as the UK's Annabelle. I'm just like, shut up. But it is. That has been some scary moments. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like a jump scare. It's a psychologically... It's one that you go home with and you go, I need to get that out of my head. Now, I've got a really good way of shutting off from the parent. Like, when I come out of work, I completely change my mindset back into life. And that's a really good way to shut off, because if you didn't do that, you'd be sat there and I could see why it would cause such mental issues and like... Constantly
thinking about stuff like that.
Yeah. Like disturbing stuff.
Yeah.
Like you drive yourself insane eventually.
So you're not the clairvoyant side of stuff?
No, I hate it.
That's not... no interest in that at all?
Don't believe in it.
Do you not?
No. I have a really, really good way of debunking mediums. And the problem is, this is a huge problem. And I think a lot of your viewers who listen to me say this will agree with me. There are so many self-proclaimed psychics out there. Oh, I'm a medium.
Yeah.
Like in the paranormal world of social media, someone will put a picture online. What's people's thoughts on this? And some fucking batshit crazy woman, I can guarantee every time will jump on and go, I'm sensing a little boy in this picture with you. His name is Charles and he's doing it. Yeah. And it's like, what, you're seeing that off a picture, really?
Yeah.
So we did a thing at the hotel where we got 4 different mediums in, and again tested them all. There's just no proof at all.
How did you go about testing? What did you do?
So we split them up completely. Now, theoretically, they should all be picking up on the same thing in a haunted building. Not one of them.
None of them thought...
It's all different. So we purposely kept them separate so they couldn't influence each other.
So you never even told each other who was going?
Nope.
Got them there at different times, no interaction at all?
All at the same time, but they had no interaction with each other. So we sat them separate. We watched them on camera enter the building separately, different times. And then they were all in there at the same time in different rooms, couldn't hear each other, couldn't see each other, anything like that. And we watched on camera and not a single one of them picked up on the same thing. And they all did a cold reading for Harry, the owner.
A what?
A cold reading. So it's like where they'll pick up on. So I could sit here now and give you a cold reading. It's like, I'm getting the name Kaz, like your wife.
Fucking hell, I'm in, Danny, I'm in. You're good.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we watched them do this and just get it so badly wrong. So badly wrong. Like, not a single one of them picked up on the fact that his dad had died a year earlier.
Which is a massive thing within it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then one of them was like, have you got a sister? And they're waiting for his eyes to go light up or of him to.
They know the towels, don't they?
Yeah. And we're saying to him, Harry, don't react. Whatever you do, just sit there, cold face, don't do anything, don't react, don't blink, don't do anything, just sit there. And, you saw him reacting to some situations. We're like, no, what are you doing? Because the minute they get something,
They're off.
boom, I'll cling on to that.
Yeah.
And this is why, like, people who go to these psychic events, you'll have a medium on stage. I'm getting the name Roger. Roger. Oh, yeah, me. I had a cousin twice removed. His name was Roger. And it's, right. And they home in like a wasp on you. And I don't want to sound disrespectful at all, but
It's not for you.
that is. People may look at me and go, "What a charlatan! What a charlatan!" He's scamming the gullible. No, I'm not. I'm actually trying to rationalise. If I was scamming the public, which a lot of people would look at a ghost hunter, a paranormal investigator, and go, "What a load of shite! They're doing it for money. They're doing it for this." No, because if that was the case, anyone who come up to me was like, "I've got a problem here in my house," I'd be like, "Right, it's going to cost you 500 quid a day.
Yeah.
I'll come in."
Plumber's money, that is.
Yeah. So, but I'm like, no, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
But mediums who are, I've seen it happen, and it really pisses me off because it's like you are actually playing on someone's emotion or someone that they may have lost recently. And I had it done to me. So like in the hotel, if you're in the bar, you go down and get a coffee or something, you go up and there'll be a medium, self-proclaimed medium, and then they'll come up to you. "Oh, do you mind if I just say, I'm sensing someone's with you. They've got the..." I'm like, fuck off. Yeah. Don't do that to me because I'm not going to let you.
Because they're going to find it in, aren't they?
Yeah. And the minute, if I was to turn around, and I've done it before, they've picked up on something which is complete bollocks, and I've gone, yeah, you know what, you're right.
And you ran with it to see, and they've gone off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, when you get them marketing calls, don't you? And it's someone on the other end of the phone. It's like, "Oh, you've been in a car accident." It's
yes.
Like, do you know what I have? Yeah. It was
14 months ago, 14 years ago I was in.
And you just for shits and giggles, you just play them along. It's like, it was your phone bill that's coming out of this.
Yeah.
That's what I do with mediums sometimes, because it's just like, I know your game.
Just play the game. Any questions, Jack, before I...
What would you be doing if you weren't doing this?
I've no idea. I've absolutely no idea. It's hard to even think what I'd be doing. Probably some dead end job that I just don't enjoy at all. I've always felt like I needed to do something different. And this is as different as you can get.
Yeah, it's a bit left field, mate.
But you know what I mean? I love being my own boss. I love being self-employed. And there's a lot of pressure with that as well. And it's like anyone who's thinking there's a load of money in this game, there's not. Yeah. I've been very blessed with some of the opportunities that I've been given, but it's a massive passion.
But that's hard work, Dan, as well, isn't it? You've put the graft in to get to where you are. What is it? Haunting Magazine don't throw around one of the most influential people in the UK in the paranormal field for fun.
But I've took a lot of shit for it.
Have you?
Yeah. There's an awful lot of jealousy in this field. There's a lot of people that will call you fake, which that's like part and parcel.
Yeah.
You expect that. And that's not so much a problem, but the jealousy that comes from it and the death threats, and social media is bad.
Yeah.
I'm really big on social media is in an absolute mess. It's destroying humanity because there's so many people who just sat there and they can contact you in any way now. And I close all my inboxes just to not get the messages, but it does happen, and that is the horrible side of the job. Like at the end of the day, I'm a bit of a history geek. I love my history. I love going to old buildings, and I love investigating weird phenomena. if that makes me a bad guy, then Jesus.
Mate, there's plenty worse you could be doing out there.
Yeah, I know. And it is disheartening, but it's a job I love. I've got a massive passion for it. I love it. And I love seeing people's faces who have a genuine experience like I've had. And then them going, oh my God, this is it. This is, you know.
Do you get that a lot? You must get that. You said about the, you know, I suppose it's good for you seeing a big guy like me, completely going with his missus, whatever, and then 6 hours later or the following morning coming out going, fucking hell, mate, that was some
I work
shit.
with a guy called Gibbsy now who is exactly that. He's just a big man guy, and he comes in and he's like, he thinks it's all a load of crap, and he's had an experience, and now he's all in for it.
What happened with him?
Just stood in one of the rooms in the hotel, in room 4 where the sword was found, and it's getting all this weird stuff happening, but it's just pure unexplainable, like noises, all this intelligent stuff happening. And then he's had loads of other experiences as well, where he's heard disembodied footsteps. There's something that happens at the hotel where you get 2 knocks on one of the doors, and it happens 3-4 times a week. Right. And it's what's called like a residual haunting, imagine a tape player playing over and over again. It's like part of the building. Yeah. Right. And there's no way you can explain it because we've been through every...
And there's no specific place it happens, it just
on this door.
Oh, okay.
Just on this door of room 5, and he's experienced that. He's been in the in what we call our control rooms, like a room like this where we've got all monitors everywhere watching, and he's been in there and watched some of the stuff that's happened firsthand, and he's just obsessed with it now.
Is the hotel a place where anyone can go?
Yeah.
Do you have to book in with it, or
so anyone can go in the pub downstairs?
Yeah. And where is it?
It's in Chester.
Okay. What's it called again?
So it's the Old King's Head, but it's called My Haunted Hotel.
Okay.
It's on Lower Bridge Street. You go in, big old pub.
Just a normal pub.
Normal pub. Go in there, and it's actually got a sightings board because people have experiences in there. I'm not talking about like pint glasses moving across the thing.
That's after you after 10 pints, mate.
Yeah. Well, you see that all the time, and you get it. It's like, oh my God, a goat. No, it's moisture, mate.
Yeah.
But like big things happen in there. Like,
so if you want to go into the hotel, say I turned up on a Friday, my missus.
Yeah.
We go up there. We'll go here for a drink. Danny said, "How do I get?"
So you have to book in for. So the hotel now is only for paranormal investigations.
It's not a you can't stop there.
You can stay there, but it's you're filmed all night.
Your face then, you can stay there like if you fucking want to.
I reckon we get you both down.
Oh,
do
mate.
a podcast in the hotel.
I nearly said, yeah, I would.
I'm going to get you both to say yes before the end.
Would you do it, Jack?
Yeah.
There you go. If that's an open invite for you for us to go down or up, take the stuff. But again, you've got the gear. We might be, we can sit in there. We work it out. We work it out off camera. We work it out whenever. Have a couple of, maybe an hour, have a chat with you, your team, and go.
And then we'll send you up into the rooms. And the rooms, they've got cameras everywhere, so you're filmed 24/7, even when you're sleeping. So people don't go in there thinking it's a normal hotel.
Yeah.
They go.
They know what it's for.
Yeah, it's for paranormal investigation. And it's insane. And anyone can go.
You up for that?
Yeah, I'll go.
Good lads.
Can we put that together, Dan?
Good lads. Yeah.
Fuck it.
Meanwhile,
So, apart from us, you book into it.
Yeah.
And you can go and spend a night there, certain amount of hours
it's
there.
like a 12-hour investigation. So you rock up at 8:30. We brief you, tell you basically.
So do you have your team people with you as well?
So there's people watching you in a control room. So they're watching on camera the whole time. You get given a radio. We have radios. And basically, if you experience anything, you go, 10:30, I've just heard this happen. We check all the cameras, and then we come back to you and go, Mark, it's fucking so-and-so down the corridor, or it's a pipe in this corner. Yeah. We'll debunk it for you. And then if we can't debunk it, we'll go, right, we'll log that as a moment of interest. And that's what the whole project's built on, real people having real experiences all caught on camera.
I'm up for that, mate.
yeah.
Any more for any more?
I had one question. You were talking about how.
Let me quickly pop. We all right time-wise?
Yeah.
Let's pop to the lid.
Actually, shall I? Well, I'll speak into the camera.
Are you going?
Shall I make my? I just want There's one little.
So Jack, is it the first time on?
Yeah, go on then.
Jack's cameo. Never been this side.
Go on then.
I feel special.
Come on. This is whilst Mark just spends a penny. So I've got a question. I was thinking, you were saying how when you speak to the mediums and the clairvoyants,
Yeah.
and you say, nah, bollocks. But you also now, since all the experiences you've had, you now believe that something is somewhere.
Yeah.
So do you therefore think it's not possible to communicate with them?
I can't say it's impossible, but I also believe that if you are a genuine medium and you genuinely possess a gift that allows you to see the dead or communicate with the dead, through psychic ability, you don't go and force that on anybody. And a lot of the mediums that I have interacted with or have met or get approached by force it on you. And I can tell straight away the techniques that they use to try and cold read you, basically, and look for a way in. And I just, if I had that ability, I'd want to keep it quiet, because why would you want that attention? You'd be on every news channel, and you'd have everybody in the world trying to contact you, coming up to, please, can you contact my late father, or my husband, my wife passed 3 months ago, please, can you? You'd get no peace. Like, why would you want that to be broadcast across the world? And I have met a couple of talented mediums where I've gone, well, that's interesting, but I can't sit here and go, they 100% possess this ability, because I've not seen it. If I saw it, I'm happy to be proved wrong.
So you wouldn't be able to, you can't definitively disprove it because you are open to it, but you just haven't seen that bit of evidence yet.
I can disprove certain techniques that these self-proclaimed mediums do, yeah. I can absolutely say that's fake. I'd be 100% confident, but I can't sit here and honestly say I'm 100% confident that there isn't a genuine medium out there that possesses a gift, because I just don't know. I've not met them all. And, like I said, I'm happy to be proved wrong always. If someone was to walk into this room now and state that they are a genuine medium and sit here and prove me wrong, brilliant. Epic. I'd love that. But I just don't.
We just haven't seen it yet.
No, and I don't think I will.
No. Are we, you and I switching over, Mark?
Yeah, have a go.
It's going to be strange, like people actually listening to someone who can speak correctly.
Oh, did that cut deep?
He loves a deal.
But
On the working man.
I mean,
Ask. So what I was going to do now was sort of go, right, floor is yours.
The Jerry Springer.
A little bit of, the Jerry Springer.
the Jerry Springer. I assume you are familiar, obviously, with Jerry Springer.
Absolutely.
And how he used to see out his shows
Yeah.
with Jerry's final thought.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Jerry, by the way.
Yeah.
Actually, Jerry,
Are you with us, Jerry?
Jezza,
Jezebel?
too soon?
Too soon.
Okay, so this is the part of the show where we have our equivalent of the Jerry Springer final thought. So basically, you've got a little opportunity to say something that you think would be appropriate, given that we've been speaking to. I say we. I've been listening for 2 hours. Mark's been doing most of the work. So, what would you say to people who, let's say, have an interest, or are at least contemplating it? If they want to be involved in it, if they want to do a bit of research, things to aim for, things to avoid.
Yeah, it's kind of like your paranormal handbook, isn't it? Look, I think the paranormal now is, I think you said it, Mark, at the beginning, it is quite big. There's a lot of people getting involved in it and a lot of people watching it. And I don't make no secret of it. The paranormal's in a bit of a mess, I'm not going to lie, because it is oversaturated. So if you are genuinely interested in this and you genuinely want to have an experience or you want to take it up as a hobby, go and investigate. This is the only thing I will plug. Like, come to the My Haunted Hotel, or if you're in America, go to My Haunted Manor USA, because I honestly believe it's the right way to investigate. It's not going to Warwick Castle with a table and a Ouija board.
Yeah, Mark. You're such a tourist.
I love how Danny brings it all the way around.
Yeah. But what we're doing is really, really simple. It's a simple idea, but it takes a lot of effort to actually do it. So it's 24/7 surveillance. If you've got a haunted building, you want to capture a moment, you arm it with cameras and you have a team of people overseeing the cameras 24/7, and you open it to skeptics, believers, scientists, parapsychologists, anybody, literally anybody is welcome to come and book in and document their experiences on camera. So that is, if you want to actually go on a paranormal event, that is the type of event you need to be booking. If you want to take it up as a hobby, just be prepared that it isn't just a case of picking up a few ghost hunting gadgets online and going to a haunted building. It requires years of research. You really need to know what the equipment actually does and what it doesn't do. Because there's a lot of crap equipment out there. Your cat balls, your K2 meters.
Oh, your fault.
I was going to say, are you not responsible for these cat
I am actually. I'm responsible for the cat ball pandemic.
Cat ball down, they call it.
Yeah. Yeah. Shit. My bad, guys. But yeah, like K2s are another one. They pick up on electromagnetic field, and if you stick one in here, it would be going mad with all the electrical equipment, but people are thinking, oh my God, it's a ghost. So it takes a lot of research, it takes a lot of effort. And then for anyone who's just not into the tech of the paranormal, it's just like, it's ghost hunting. Brilliant. Just come and have an experience, come and witness it for yourself, and be prepared that it is not like the movies and it's not like the TV shows. You can't rock up to a location and expect within the first half an hour to see things moving around rooms. State very clearly that if you attend one of my locations or one of my investigations, you are likely going to leave not having witnessed a single thing. Probably very cold and very tired and very bored. Paranormal investigating, it sounds like the most exciting thing in the world. Promise you now, it is boring. It's so boring, so time consuming, and it's not fun at all. But if you do witness a moment of genuine interest, it could be the best thing you ever witness, and it can change your life completely. So appreciate non-believers, appreciate anyone who thinks it's bollocks. I'd have agreed with you at one time, but you can't sit here and say that it's not real. Just like I can't sit here and say I can prove there's a ghost in this room right now, which obviously I can't, but it does take proper captures, which have happened 3-4 times in my life, those big holy grail moments. I've been doing this for 13 years, so that's how long it's took. And the evidence that you will have seen in this video that I'm going to show you guys after we've finished recording is special stuff. Gentlemen. It's been emotional.
I'm seeing out my first episode as well. So, first of all, Mark, where are you going to sit down? I've got it. Are you going to come in?
I didn't know what he was doing.
Go on, see if you can squeeze past. It's a bit. Didn't leave you enough space there, did I? Do you want your seat back?
I want my seat.
Want your seat back?
How was your first?
That was my first experience. It wasn't too bad.
Let us know what you thought to our Jack.
Well, I was only on for the last
my
like
cards.
10 or 15 minutes. So
I feel really privileged there.
Yeah.
And I'm like the first guest that you've
Witnessed
done that with.
Jack.
And this is the first one, that I've been involved in, and I've actually, disclaimer, spoiler alert, actually listened to all the way through whilst recording.
Really?
I have kept my eye on you.
Oh my God, it really is paranormal.
Yeah. I went on my phone considerably less during this filming. Yeah. But I would like to say on behalf of myself, on behalf of Marky Boy, thank you very much.
Thank
Halloween
you.
special
enjoyed
concluded. But we shall meet again, as the famous song goes.
You're up for it, ain't you?
100%, mate, 100%.
Up for it. No, Danny, massively enjoyed having you on. It was one that I was... Are you handing it over now?
Here you go.
Right, okay. I'll do a outro then. Thanks, Jack. Was it all right? Did you enjoy it?
Very fun.
I want to see what people think in the comments. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think to Jack's cameo. Yeah, no, mate, massively enjoyed that. I was proper excited about it. Research, late into the night last night, finding stuff out. It's something that people are constantly fascinated with it, and you've experienced things, and even when we started talking about what you'd seen, the hairs on my arms were going up. So yeah, we're going to accept your open invite to do a podcast. So we're going to come up, do a podcast with you and your team and whatever.
Yeah.
Spend some hours up there and see what's going on.
Even go live investigation and put it out there.
Yeah.
Record your own bits and see what
Definitely,
happens.
mate. But no, thanks so much for coming on. A little bit different to the usual construction stuff, but hope you've enjoyed it, Darren.
Yeah, massive thanks to both of you for inviting me on, and look forward to seeing you at the hotel.
Yeah, man. Cheers, mate.